everyone, it's Sage. This is the second part in my review, debrief, and kind of talking about the second half of Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department. I posted the first half a few days ago, and today you guys are getting the second half of the album. Now, this is just going to be the second half of the original The Tortured Poets Department album we were getting, but if you guys want me to do this same video for the anthology, I would absolutely love to, so let me know, and then if you guys ask for it, I will definitely go ahead and make that video. I hope you guys enjoyed the first part. It was super fun for me getting to kind of go through and analyze each and every one of these songs and, you know, give you all my opinions and thoughts on them. Now, because this is a new video, I will be giving you all a new lyric. Today's new lyric is "Searching for a sound we hadn't heard before." If you want 3 entries into my giveaway to win 2 tickets to see Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, then make sure you comment that lyric, what the time is that you found that lyric at, and what song the lyric is from. If you do that, you will get 3 entries into my giveaway. And if you don't know about my giveaway, I do have a video talking all about it, and it will be linked in the description, so make sure you check that out. The number 1 rule to enter the giveaway is that you must be subscribed to this YouTube channel, so if you're not already, make sure you go and do that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and just jump right into the second half of the album, but I hope you guys enjoy. Guilty as sin. My boredom's bone deep, this cage was once just fine. Now this is like Joe. This is literally about Joe and their relationship. She is just so bored and so sick and tired of this relationship, but she's like, yeah, but at one point this was fine, this cage was fine, being hidden with him and not being able to go in public with him and all this stuff. She was honestly fine with it. Like, she genuinely did not have a problem with it when it started, but now she's in this position and she's like, where has my life gone? Where's all the time gone? Like, I'm bored and I'm sick of this. I dream of cracking locks. This is also about Joe. She was basically, like I just said, bored and she wanted to break out of this relationship. I keep recalling things we never did, messy top lip kiss, how I long for our trysts without ever touching his skin. Now these are Maddie. These lines scream Maddie. Because basically we know at the beginning of the song she's saying, I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling bored, I'm sick of this relationship that I'm in with Joe, and I want to break out, I want out, I'm ready to leave, and I am just dreaming of being with Maddie. I'm dreaming of all these things that we've never done before, we've never been together, but I'm just dreaming of them. I wish I was with you, and I wish I was doing all these things with you, and I was not in a relationship with Joe anymore. How can I be guilty as sin? It's really interesting because basically she's like, okay, I am dreaming about Maddie, dreaming about doing all these things with Maddie and being with Maddie, but is it wrong? Because I'm not actually cheating. I'm not actually doing anything about these impulses and about these thoughts and fantasies that I'm having. So is it wrong? Am I guilty of sin? And she's like basically questioning herself. And I think that's a very cool kind of like self-reflective moment. And like she said before, it's like without ever touching his skin. Like she's like, I didn't actually do anything. So how can I be guilty of sin? Like we didn't do anything. I keep these longings locked in lowercase inside a vault. This is like her trying her very best not to think about Maddie. Like anytime she thinks of him, she's like, no. She pushes it back, she represses it. She's like, no, I'm not gonna think about him. I'm not gonna think about how I wish I was with him. I'm just gonna lock it up somewhere deep inside my brain and just forget about it. But I also think this is a little haha moment poking at the Swifties because like vault, come on, like locking things away in a vault. I think that was just another little like double haha moment. Someone told me there's no such thing as bad thoughts, only your actions talk. This I feel like is the key line that really explains what the whole song is about, because she's admitting she was having all these thoughts about Maddie. She was imagining all these things that they've never done before. She's thinking about them while she's in her relationship that she's bored in. They're just thoughts, and she's never touched his skin. So, and if only your actions talk, then how can she be guilty of sin? Like, literally, she hasn't done anything wrong because she's only thinking about him and not doing anything. Now, that's definitely not true in the world of loyalty and, like, being faithful. However, I understand the point of the song, and that's basically her kind of having her inner battle with herself. Well, am I doing something wrong? No, I can't be doing something wrong because I'm not actually doing anything with him, but it feels wrong, and it is wrong, girl. It is wrong. These fatal fantasies giving way to labor breath, taking all of me, we've already done it in my head. Yikes. I will not be adding anything to that, but it further proves my point, so I'm just gonna leave that lyric there for you to think about. And then also, my bed sheets are ablaze, I've screamed his name. Keeping it PG-13 on this channel, will not be going into any explanation of those lyrics. If you don't know what those lyrics mean, do not try and find out. What if I roll the stone away? They're gonna crucify me anyway. I take this as like, what if I cheat or what if I leave? Either way, being with Maddie, the public is gonna hate me. So do I leave Joe and be with Maddie, or do I just cheat? Because like either way, the public is just gonna hate me for it. Basically, after I wrote all these notes about this song, I actually listened to it again, and I had some other thoughts about the beginning of it. The part that says he sent me downtown lights, I feel like Maddie sent Taylor a text just of the song. You know how you can like send like a little link of a song? I feel like he just sent it completely innocently, just sent the song. Probably didn't even say anything or just was like said something about the song. But she was with Joe and she was already having all these fantasies and already thinking all these things about Maddie. Now she's spiraling even more. She's losing her mind because he messaged her and he messaged her this song that obviously she likes and she hasn't heard in a while. Maybe it has some significance to her. I have no idea what the song's about. I've never heard of it before. I will be listening to it. I don't even know who it's by. I have no idea the significance. I bet you if I listened to it, it would also add to my point here, but I didn't have time for that. Basically, I think Maddie sent it just as a friend, like totally innocently, but because Taylor was already thinking this stuff, she made it more serious in her head than it was in real life, and now she just feels guilty about it. She's like, well, now I started thinking all these things, and now I feel like I'm cheating even though literally he just innocently sent me one song. Am I allowed to cry? Basically, she's sad about everything. She's sad about how her relationship sucks, but she's also sad because she wants to be with Maddie, but she literally can't be with Maddie, and now she wishes she didn't want to be with Maddie because she wishes she had a good relationship with Joe in the first place and didn't want to be with Maddie at all because she was just in a good relationship. But she also doesn't know if she even has the right to cry because she has been thinking all these things and she does feel like she's cheating and doing something wrong. And so now she's asking like, am I guilty? Am I even allowed to cry? She feels all these horrible things, but like, is she also doing something wrong? Is she also doing what Joe is doing to her that's hurting her? And it's like, is she even allowed to cry? Who's afraid of little old me? This song is so good. I feel like it's a really standout song on the album. I feel like this could be about her finding out that Joe cheated for the first time. That's what I really feel like it's about. So it's about Joe. I feel like it's specifically about the first time that she found out he cheated. Levitate down your street, crash the party like a record scratch as I scream. She found out, she showed up to the party he was at and just lost it. The scandal was contained. This is interesting because we never heard about anything like this. So no media or the public ever found out about this incident, but I do believe it is based off a true story that happened to her. At all costs, keep your good name. We have really never thought much bad about Joe. We definitely haven't loved Joe, and we've definitely thought some not great things about him because he never wanted to be in public with her. We never saw them together much, but we didn't think he was a bad person. But if we would have known at the time that he cheated, we would have hated him. We would have gone crazy on Joe. It's interesting because he kept his good name. He cheated at least once, probably several times with several different people, and he kept his good name at any cost, which is really crazy. It also makes you think, what were the costs? What were the things that happened behind the scenes that made sure we as a public didn't find out about this? Is it a wonder I broke? Let's hear one more joke. This is crazy. I saw a TikTok about this. Basically, if you listen to just the lyrics, there's a way that you can strip down the lyrics from the music. But even if you listen to it just in the song, like I listened to it just on my phone and I could hear this. She says broke so clearly. You hear that K so clearly. When she says, let's hear one more joke, there's not even a whisper. There's not even a hint of that K. It is 100%, let's hear one more Joe. 100%, go listen to it right now and tell me I'm wrong. There's not even a single little moment where there's a K sound on the joke. It's definitely Joe. Definitely Joe. And we know if she wanted us to hear the K, she would have said it because she just said it in broke literally right before. Now, this could either be about Joe Alwyn because, you know, let's hear one more joke. I'm sure he said lots of bad things about her. There's also one lyric in one of the songs saying, oh, you bad talked me under the table. So again, very interesting. But it also could be about Joe Coy, who did that award show and made these horrible jokes about Taylor. If you don't know what I'm talking about it, go watch, but it was terrible. I don't think that that's a realistic proposition, but that's what people have been saying. I think it's definitely more realistic that it's about Joe Alwyn and just bad things he said about her to like his friends and family than about Joe Coy, because I'm sure this song was already done and already written and already like all that before that happened. We never know though. It could be about Joe Coy. It could be a double meaning. It could be both of them. Who really knows? But I don't think it's very likely that she would have written a lyric about this announcer guy because I think she wouldn't have even cared that much. Like, she would have been hurt, but like I don't think she would have even given him that. I can fix him, no really I can. This song is a Maddie song. Come on now, you know it, I know it, we know it. This song is about Maddie. The smoke cloud billows out his mouth. we know Maddie smokes a lot. The jokes that he told across the bar were revolting and far too loud. We know Maddie is known for saying controversial things and horrible things. He says them at his concerts all the time, in interviews, in public. We know he says very out of pocket and awful things. But this also gives mean vibes from Speak Now. You know how it's like, I don't even know what the lyric is. It's basically about this guy who's hating on her, and basically he talks over a football game in a bar, and it's just annoying and everyone hates him for it. That line just gives me that vibe. I don't know if there's any real connection, but it just immediately makes me think of Mean every time. They shake their heads saying, God help her when I tell him he's my man. Everyone said she shouldn't be with Maddie. Everyone was like, oh, good luck, girl. Like, he sucks. Whoa, maybe I can't is an insane last line to that song, because she goes through the whole song saying like, I can handle him, don't worry about me, you don't have to say God help her, like, I can handle him, I love him, I want to be with him. Whoa, maybe I can't. Whoa, maybe I can't handle him, maybe I shouldn't be with him, maybe he does suck, maybe he is bad. Oh my god, insane way to end that song. Literally crazy. The next song is LOML. Now I really like how everyone predicted that the fact that the name was LOML and not Love of My Life was because LOML was gonna mean something different, and as we got to see, it actually had that double meaning of love of my life and loss of my life, which is so devastating, but I'm so happy that was done because I feel like it pieces it all together so nicely. Immediately, this song sounds so much like White Horse. If you don't believe me, listen to this song and then listen to the beginning of White Horse. It is so similar, like just the music behind, so similar. I had to say this line that says, Mr. Steal Your Girl, Steal My Girl, One Direction, Harry, is that you? Immediately makes me think of Harry Styles. I do not think the song is about Harry Styles. However, instantly, Mr. Steal Your Girl, like, everybody wants to steal my girl. Literally, Mr. Harry, what's going on? That was what I thought, so. I will say that this one was a tough one because no lyric stuck out specifically. You would think LOML, like love of my life and loss of my life, would be Joe because it's a long relationship. It's important. A lot happened. She was the love of his life and he was the loss of her life. But honestly, I don't think it's about him. I am honestly leaning more towards Maddie because I feel like he was like, oh, you're the love of my life, blah, blah, blah. Like in this short-term relationship, like the short amount of time that they were together, I feel like that just would have happened. And then I feel like because she had been thinking about him and dreaming about him for all these years when she was with Joe, and then it just didn't turn out the way that she fantasized and the way that she wanted, and they didn't spend their life together, he was a loss of her life because she had just dreamed about him for years and years and years and built this relationship with Maddie up in her head so much that it didn't live up to her expectations because her expectations at that point were so high. She just thought it would be everything she dreamed of and it just couldn't possibly be. So I do feel like that's why she thinks he's the loss of her life, because it's just like all these things that she wished would have happened got stripped away from her because like there were not realistic expectations. But I don't know. That's what I think. I'm leaning more Maddie. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. This song is iconic. This song is gonna go down in history. I love this song. This is definitely to the fans and just all about the pressures of being famous while still being human at the same time, and just the complexities and issues that arise with being famous and having all of this power and fame and no privacy, but also still being human, still feeling things, going through real life issues, grief, heartbreak, loss, real human emotions that are so like insanely intense, and still having to put on this face and put on this act and be this other super famous person while having to hide how you really feel is just crazy. She speaks directly to the fans with I Can Read Your Mind. She's having the time of her life. They are in her glittering prime. The lights refract sequin stars off her silhouette every night. We know this is about the Eras Tour, and she knows that everyone thought that she was her happiest. She was having the best time of her life when this tour started. She was at her peak, the best point in her career. She was like doing all this amazing stuff and she was just in her prime, when really now we know the absolute torture and trauma she endured during the beginning of this tour is like no other, is a once-in-a-lifetime pain that she experienced, and she was doing it while putting on this face, which makes it so much harder. She couldn't even wallow and sap and like feel bad for herself. She had to get on that stage every night, travel around the world, perform for these people, while they were literally screaming more and more and more, which we will get to. But that is so devastatingly heartbreaking. She had to push through everything that she was feeling because she's a performer, and her literal job is to perform and make other people happy and give them the time of their life, even while she was literally breaking inside. One thing that really stuck out to me is the really small and quiet 1, 2, 3, 4 you hear, and that's basically what she would hear in her earpieces right before a song, or right before she has to get on the stage or get off the stage or end the song. It's basically to keep her on track and keep her with the counts, and that's crazy because it's like pushing her forward, pushing her through the song. Like, no matter how heartbreaking and how like devastated she is and upset, 1, 2, 3, 4, as soon as it hits 4, it's her cue and she has to get on the stage whether she likes it or not. She better start performing that song and hit that first word of that song immediately on her mark, or it ruins the entire show. It ruins her fans' experience, and she's gonna be talked about forever. She's gonna be hated on. It's just gonna be horrible. So it's really meaningful and powerful, that 1, 2, 3, 4 that we hear, because it's literally what's like pushing her, like her driving force. Even if it's not like her internal driving force, it's like pushing her forward. Like, the show literally must go on. If you don't start singing when it gets to your time, when we get to 4, like, it's over for you. And that is like just so sad. Even when you want to die, he said he'd love me all his life, but that life was too short. Breaking down, I hit the floor. Oh, these are so devastating. But basically, she was crushed and ruined by the ending of her relationship with Joe. Even if she ended it or she wanted to leave in the end, doesn't matter. Doing something like that is so difficult, and she was just devastated about it. But the thing is, we as the public didn't even know that was happening while it was happening. There was some speculations, this and that, but we didn't know for a fact. And the fact that we couldn't tell is insane. It just goes to show her immense bravery and strength through all of this, because she kept it together and hid it from the fans enough where we weren't sure what was going on. There was maybe something going on, maybe not. We didn't know. The fact that she wasn't literally breaking down, hit the floor, like literally bawling her eyes out on tour is crazy. I know there were a few songs on tour where she did break down crying. That, like, yeah, of course she did. Are you kidding me? Those are songs she either wrote for Joe or with Joe or were very significant, and obviously that makes sense. And I mean, I haven't heard anybody saying anything bad about that, which is good because she's human and she has emotions. But it's just interesting now knowing how much, like, how awful this was and how traumatic this was for her. The fact that she still put on her game face and did her very best every single night. As the crowd was chanting more, this, again, is just kind of the same thing over and over again, but basically, like, everyone was begging for more of her, begging for more album releases, begging for more Taylor's versions, begging for more tour dates, begging for her to go to more countries, do this, do that, encore, more songs, better surprise songs, sing the surprise song, and, like, just be better, more, and more. And that is tough for anybody, and especially at that scale with millions and millions and millions of people begging that from you. But the fact that she was getting all that while going through the most horrific time in her life is really just makes me feel awful for her. I can hold my breath. I've been doing it since he left. I keep finding his things in drawers. Crucial evidence. I didn't imagine the whole thing. This is really interesting because it does suggest that she left Joe, which a few of the lyrics in a few songs have suggested that she was the one who actually ultimately ended the relationship. But it's also interesting because she's like, oh, like, crucial evidence that it actually happened. This relationship actually happened. It wasn't all in my head. This horrible stuff wasn't in my head. The good stuff wasn't in my head. Like, you know, it was real. Because I'm miserable and nobody even knows, try and come for my job. This is so powerful because she's doing it laughing, ha ha ha, at the end of the song, very lightly. But those are some powerful words. She was literally miserable and no one noticed. No one checked on her. No one asked if she was okay. No one said, hey, take a break, take some time for yourself. You just went through this really horrific thing. You need to take some time. No. Everyone was literally begging for more and more and more and more from her, which is just awful. And then the try and come for my job is crazy. She has been doing such an amazing job and people still tell her what she should do to be better and things she should do differently and like how she should do things better and how they would do it if they were in her shoes. Like, you could not do as good as she's doing. The amount of things that she went through and she still performed through and still did so much amazingness through. It's just like, yeah, come for my job. Like, you could not do it better if you tried. And I love that she took that power stance. But it's also nice how she did it because she did it tastefully. It was a little laughing. It was at the end. It wasn't aggressive. It wasn't mean. It was just like, yeah, like, try it and see how hard it is. And I like that. I appreciate that. I respect that. Next we have The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. This song is about Maddie. Come on now. We all know this. This song is about Maddie Healy. In your Jehovah's Witness suit. This is the perfect representation of how Maddie Healy dresses. Like, I saw this image of him and it was like, yes, that is the perfect encapsulation of what he looks like. You tried to buy some pills from a friend of a friend's of mine. Again, like I said earlier, we know the types of activities Maddie likes to participate in. They just ghosted you. Now you know what it feels like. This makes it sound like Maddie ghosted Taylor, which would be crazy lore. He ghosted her? That's crazy. Who knows? But that is really what that lyric makes it sound like, and that is crazy to me. If rusting my sparkling summer was the goal. She's literally asking, she's like, was it your plan all along to just like rust my summer sparkle? Like, were you literally, did you come along literally just to ruin me, just to hurt me? Like, was that your only goal with this interaction, with this relationship? And that is some hard-hitting stuff. In public, showed me off, then sank into stoned oblivion. Now, we know the whole Joe and Taylor thing about how he never wanted to be seen with her in public. So when Maddie was going in public with her, we saw lots of photos of them out. They were holding hands, they were in public, and we could tell they were a couple. She must have felt on top of the world in those moments because it was the exact opposite of all the things that she hated with her relationship with Joe. So like, great, he showed her off in public, but then in private, he sank into stoned oblivion, which I feel like has a double meaning. One is just like ignored her, didn't care, didn't treat her well, or, you know, things like that. But also stoned oblivion. Again, the activities we know Maddie likes to participate in. I hope you're understanding what I mean by activities because I don't want to say it on the internet. But basically, like, you know, things that he does. And I feel like she probably didn't like that. Like, it's been mentioned an awful lot at this point, and I feel like she just didn't like that he was always in stoned oblivion, if you know what I mean. The whole bridge is very intense. I would say it's the most intense bridge of the whole album, which is crazy, but it is like insane. But it's basically just her questioning, like, why did you hurt me so bad? Did you come into my life? Did you start a relationship with me? Did you start a friendship with me only to hurt me? Like, why did you come to just cause me this much pain and then leave? Ghost me even. And that is just devastating to just be questioning, like, were your only intentions negative? Did you only come here and intending to ruin me? You kicked out the stage light, but you're still performing. We know he's literally a singer, a performer. He does crazy stuff on stage. And I feel like that's just to make us know, like, who the song is about. Like, you're still performing. It also has a lot to do with, like, performing, pretending to be a good person, which she doesn't do. But, like, performing, like, to be in a good relationship with her, showing her off in public, but then treating her badly in private, but making it look like to the world that he was treating her really well. That kind of thing. But also it's so we know, like, yeah, this is a singer, this is a performer, you know? I think he was on tour during some of this, so that also could tie into it. The second last song is The Alchemy. Now, I think this is going to be my most controversial opinion. We'll see what you think though. Okay, so everyone thinks that this song is about Travis Kelce because of the chorus, touchdown, call the amateurs and cut him from the team, ditch the clowns, get the crown, baby, I'm the one to beat. Which obviously references football, references Super Bowl, you know, getting the crown, amateurs, team, touchdown, blah, 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 blah. But if you listen to the lyrics of this song, it is so clearly not about Travis. It's not even a love song, I don't think. But that's reaching. But like, I don't even think it's a love song. So yeah, definitely not about Travis Kelce. I hate to break it to you, but I think she threw those lines in there as like a reference to where she's at now in her life and her relationship. But that's not what the song is about. I think it's just like, oh, like she probably wrote this during that time, like before the Super Bowl, all that hype. And so it was on her mind, she was thinking about it. But this song is literally not about Travis Kelce, okay? It is not. Because the sign on your heart said it's still reserved for me. And also the lyric, that child's play is forgiven under my rule. These lines make it clear that whoever she's speaking about in the song, they knew each other many years before. They knew each other when they were children, child's play. And the sign on his heart says it's still reserved for her. So there's been a time period. His heart was once hers, or her heart was once his, or they had something going on, and then there was a time period, and then now his heart is still reserved for her after all this time. Now, Taylor and Travis didn't know each other until they just started dating. So how can this be about Travis? It can't, okay? It can't. This song is about Maddie, everybody. These blokes warm the benches, we've been on a winning streak. Again, benches, winning streak, blah, 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 sports. Blokes is London British slang, okay? So that's interesting because it's like, haha, Joe. But what makes more sense is that Maddie is also British. I don't know where he's from exactly, but he's from the UK somewhere. Blokes, I feel like is something he would say. Joe Allen seems too posh for blokes. I don't know, but blokes? I can hear Maddie Healy saying blokes all day long. Now, I don't know if I can say this word, so I'm not going to say it, but you guys can find the lyric. He jokes that it's, but this time with an E. The word that I'm not saying is something related to the activities that Maddie likes to do. Again, I don't want this video to get taken down, so I'm hoping you guys can use your critical thinking skills, and if not, go look at the lyrics of the song and you'll see what I mean. But it ends with, but this time with an E. I know everyone was saying that, oh, like, this is about Travis because Travis doesn't know how to spell, and like Travis doesn't know how to spell this and how to spell that, blah, 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 which is just silly. I don't know why people are saying he's stupid and doesn't know how to spell. Unless there's some video on the internet of him saying it himself or something, like, I don't know where that came from, but I feel like that's so mean and hurtful, but I don't know. Anyways, it's obviously about Maddie. We know he does these activities. He would make a joke like that. He would. I feel like he's the kind of guy to make that joke. So again, that lyric is about Maddie. Shirts off and your friends lift you up over their heads, beer sticking to the floor, cheers chanted cause they said there was no chance, trying to be the greatest in the league. Where's the trophy? He just comes running over to me. So this is very obviously about the Super Bowl and Travis Kelce. And that's fine. Like I said, this was probably in the time period where this was what was happening in her life, so she included it just naturally. But I'm telling you, this song is not about Travis Kelce, okay? It is not. It is not. Wrong. You're wrong. It's not about Travis Kelce. That obviously is. You know, that's about the Super Bowl celebration, the iconic thing of like him running to her and like at the concert, her running to him, all these stuff. So like obviously that's where the inspiration came from it, but it doesn't affect my point that this song is about Maddie Healy and not Travis Kelce. Alright, and we are on to the final song of the Tortured Poets department, and that is Clara Bow. Now, a lot of people are saying that this song is directed at Sabrina Carpenter or Olivia Rodrigo, specifically the last section. I completely disagree. This song is about the music industry as a whole and also just about being famous as a whole. It's kind of like all the things that Taylor was told when she entered the industry, all the things she has seen from being in the industry, and all the things she's kind of seeing about the future generations and being told from the future generations. This is just about the whole, you know, Hollywood world there is, or the music world, kind of everything like that, just that type of celebrity. All your life, did you know you'd be picked like a rose? Clara Bow was a really great actor, but she was institutionalized for, I think, a few reasons. I'm not entirely sure the whole story. It was devastatingly sad. She was mistreated, institutionalized when she shouldn't have been, and she was only institutionalized because she was mistreated so horribly that it ruined her. Awful, awful stuff. But I think it's really symbolic that did you know you'd be picked like a rose? Because people love roses. They're beautiful, they're stunning. And what do? They like them, so they pick them and they take them for their own use. And they keep them in their room, they put them in a vase. I've got flowers right here. Right? Because they want to enjoy them for their beauty. They're selfish. But what is that doing to the flower that you love, that you enjoy, that you appreciate? It is killing it. Literally. You are killing the thing you love because you want to enjoy it and love it a bit more. Whereas if you just left it in your garden and watched it grow and die naturally, it would live way longer than you cutting it and killing it instantly. I know that's pretty intense, and that will not stop me from keeping flowers in my room. But the point is, the fact that she's relating this to Clara Bow and like a human and how humans are treated and like the music industry is so powerful, I feel like, and just so symbolic that I just really wanted to touch on that. Die if it happened to me. No one in my small town thought I'd see the lights of Manhattan. Basically, Taylor saying Clara Bow or whatever would be so excited to be famous, to have all this stuff happen, or whoever was being compared to Clara Bow, okay? Not Stevie Nicks yet, but if someone was being compared to Clara Bow, like, oh, like if I could be where she is, you know, I would die because I would be so happy. Like, no one ever thought that I would make it to see the lights of Manhattan, to film these movies, you know what I mean? And that's meaningful because it might actually kill you, you know what I mean? You're gonna get picked like a rose, so, you know, win or lose. Take the glory, give everything, promise to be dazzling. This is devastating because for the fame, for the glory, for the life that you want to live, you have to give everything and you have to promise to be dazzling. So it's like, yes, you'll get what you want, but in exchange for literally everything you ever loved, everything you are, everything you want to do all the rest of your life, you just have to get rid of it, throw it away, give it away, because if you want this fame, you have to give it every single thing you've got, and you have to be dazzling, you have to be good at it, you have to wow the people, you have to be beautiful, you have to do what the people want. And it is just a constant cycle of, honestly, torture and torment. You look like Stevie Nicks in 75, the hair and lips. Now, Taylor was compared to Stevie Nicks a lot when she was younger and just starting out in the music industry, and I do feel like this is a direct thing alluding to this because, you know, it makes sense. I mean, there were similarities, but also the fact of performer and, you know, playing guitar, singing on stage, the vibe was there, you know? You look like Taylor Swift in this light, we're loving it. You got edge, she never did. The future's bright, dazzling. Now, like I said at the beginning, a lot of people think that this song is about Olivia Rodrigo or Sabrina Carpenter, but I disagree. I think absolutely for that last section there is inspiration taken from her watching Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter grow up in the music industry and helping them along, and then stuff that happened with Olivia, and then her having Sabrina Carpenter on tour with her. I do think they took inspiration, but I think it's so much more than like these specific people. It's that entire generation, it's my entire generation that she's basically looking down on, and all the future generations, and she's like, yeah, like there's always going to be someone better. There's always going to be someone who's going to push the envelope a little more. Yeah, she has a little bit more edge, so people are gonna like her a little bit more than they like me. But I promise you, when she grows up, there is going to be someone else who people like a little bit more than her, and then she's gonna become the next best thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean in a bad way. Like, Taylor isn't hurt and personally attacked and offended that they like her a little bit more because she has more edge. She's just different. She's got other stuff going for her, and that is just the nature of the cycle of the music industry. You know what? People age out and new generations have to come in, and that is just what it is. So yeah, Clara Bow is about just the music industry and being famous and being a celebrity as a whole. Alright guys, that was so much fun. I loved getting to go through and really analyze and deep dive into each of the lyrics into those songs. Obviously there is so much more detail I could have gone into and so much more I could have said, but I had to leave it at that because I literally could have talked forever. I had to stop myself somewhere. Now, like I said at the beginning, if you guys want me to do the same video for the anthology songs, I would love to. Just let me know if you're interested, because otherwise I don't want to bore you. I would love to hear what some of your favorite songs are from the album, and if you have any theories or things you'd like to add, or who you think certain songs are about. If you disagree with any things I said, let me know. I would love to hear it. Just make sure that anything you comment is separate from your entry comment, because that way, if you have it separate, I can actually make it public and I can respond to it, and then we can have a sort of little discussion going in the comments there. But if you do it in the same comment as your entry, I won't be able to make it public because then people will see the answers. And don't forget to get your 3 entries from the beginning of today's video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the beginning of the video and watch it again because you will understand. But yeah, I hope you guys are loving this giveaway as much as I am. Thank you all so much for joining and participating. It means so much to me, and I hope you enjoyed the Tortured Poets Department and the anthology. I know I loved it, and it was just so amazing. I will be listening to it for the next many years. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!